Hello, everybody. Good Sunday evening, January the 3rd, 2021. Welcome to Enter the Ring Live with Mighty Mike,
AJ Rage,
And
E-
Eric the Red.
Eric
Eric
the
DeVred,
Red. I like
checking
that
in
name.
from Gresham, Oregon once again. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up? Hey, are you seeing a little bit of a delay in Mike's video, Eric?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, I am too.
That's weird.
That's weird because I wasn't doing that before.
We'll just roll.
Roll with it. Roll with the punches, baby. Roll with the punches.
We're gonna do what we're gonna do. We're not perfectly. We're not.
What about
cloudy.
my audio? Is my audio delay?
No, your audio's perfect.
Yeah, audio's great.
I don't know. It's fine. This computer's been giving me issues lately. I don't know what the hell's going on.
That's all right. It doesn't matter. You just look
I'll see
like you're
if-
in the Matrix, dude. You know?
They're,
But,
they're trying to quiet us.
Hey, I heard. Before we always get into boxing, we always kind of jump in a little bit of world events, and I heard something crazy the other day. I don't know if you guys want me to share it or not, but
Go ahead.
they were talking about how, especially with the Pfizer vaccine that's out there right now, Pfizer just recently sold off 67% of their shares in their company, which basically in the pharma world says you're about ready to fall apart, because the thing is that they're protected under a statute where individual citizens cannot sue a pharma company for a vaccine if they have any kind of complications, but the federal government can sue them. So the thing is that if they go bankrupt, then they're protected. But here's the thing is, they've been saying that a lot of people that are getting the vaccine are testing false positives for HIV because they used an HIV protein in order to have the sustainability in the vaccine. So they're actually injecting you guys with HIV.
I heard something about that in Australia.
Good luck.
In Australia, I heard about that too. So here, just real quick, that's interesting. But I just saw an article there for Southern California, where you guys are. I guess over 900 people were arrested and detained over New Year's Eve.
Dude, there were so many.
For what?
Okay, what happened? It happened in LA. I'll tell you about it. I know. Well, no, it wasn't just the parties. Something that they didn't even show on the news.
What?
Over in LA, 3 different hospitals that are claiming they won't even accept people through the door because they're so overpacked, but there's nobody really in them. People were protesting outside and vandalizing the hospitals because they were letting them know that this is a lie. Even people that were registered nurses and a few doctors that worked at the hospital stepped out and joined the people because they said this has got to stop. So it's getting really bad. Whatever's going on. I mean, I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you this: going back to boxing, what happens if they mandate vaccines to boxers? I know some boxers out there, guys like Keith Thurman and others, they won't touch it. So is that the end of their career?
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Nobody's even thought about that. I mean, are they going to start making it mandatory for professional athletes? NFL season's just about done. I don't know.
I mean, it's scary. It's scary because, I mean, by law they can't do it, but because they are a sanctioned
They're a private entity.
Yeah, they're gonna, if they did do that. I mean, there's a lot of fighters that will just be like, "Is that the end of my career?"
Yeah,
But what
The funny thing is, I mean, here you got these people, saying that you have to get a vaccine or you can't work for them, or you can't hold, you can't get this type of job, or whatever the case may be. That's crazy. How is somebody going to tell you what you can do with your own body?
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I end up achieving, like I said, I've been doing my thing with law school. If I end up getting my law degree, I'm gonna have a field day in 5 years with this vaccine come back, man.
There's going to be commercials on television saying, if you took the COVID-19 vaccine.
Did you grow a tail? Did you get a third eye? Did your wiener fall off? Call me and I'll take care of it, dude.
Hey, I'm still delayed a little bit. All right, guys.
That's okay. Don't worry about it, bro. It's not
I don't know. I tried reset. I don't know what the hell's going on.
But it looks good on the stream, though. The stream looks fine, so don't worry about it. But let's go ahead and let's talk about what happened yesterday, Mike. Why don't you go ahead and dive into it, bro?
Well, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and recap. How's it now? Better?
Video looks great now.
I don't know what the hell was going on with it. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Not much to say about the fight other than everybody obviously that's watching this show probably saw the fight yesterday. Ryan Garcia wins by 7th round. I guess you consider it a KO because he
didn't get up.
He got up right at 10. So, Lawrence Cole waived it off. So I guess it's considered a 7th round KO over Luke Campbell. in Dallas for the main event on DAZN. I think a lot of questions were answered that I think we already knew the answers to, and then a lot of things were revealed that maybe we didn't know. Like I didn't quite know what kind of a chin Ryan Garcia had, and we were saying that yesterday during before the fight. We were saying, how's this kick gonna react when he gets hit? He took one decent shot on the chin and went down hard. I mean, he went down hard. I mean, he got up but he was not on. He was on unsteady legs. I think what saved him is that happened, I believe, towards the end of the second round. Am I right?
Well, yeah. Yep. Well, what happened is once he went down, he did the right. That's the only positive thing I think Ryan did was he came out aggressive towards Luke. And for some reason, Luke, a guy who's got as much experience as he has, decided to go into turtle mode and went in retreat. Yeah. And I'm thinking, like, you got to hurt fighter, even if he's aggressive. That's just desperation. You got to fight back. And he just had no clue, man.
No, I agree. I was having a little bit of issues with my internet yesterday and how I was watching the fight, so I kind of caught it late. But we said it yesterday before the fight ever took place. We said that Ryan Garcia has a bad tendency to pull straight back. He has a bad tendency of he's just not very good when he gets hit.
No,
he just doesn't react very well when he gets hit. He was standing flat-footed, winging big punches at Luke Campbell. I think you nailed it, bro. You said, Luke Campbell is just not. He's just
good.
A lot of people think he is, and he proved it. I think he could have got up from that body shot. Yeah, that body shot hurt. It looked to me like it was half on the rib cage, the solar plex area right here, almost by your trap muscle. Your lat muscle. Yeah. Your lat muscles.
It wasn't a liver shot.
No, it did. I mean, they were saying that, but it didn't appear to be that quintessential liver shot, which would have been
kind of looked like it caught his upper hip, that little bone right there.
Well, it looked like it caught him like right here to me because I saw where it landed, and you've got a pretty sizable muscle right there. Your latissimus muscle, your lats, covers your rib cage right there. I could see if it was a little bit lower and it caught that area where there's not much rib cage and it's kind of exposed. But
and that was your daily doctor dose by Dr. Michael Mignola.
Yeah, and I don't think Luke Campbell. I think Luke Campbell, he went into the fight with a loser mindset. Like,
well, what did we say earlier, bro? We were talking about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes fighters, it's called the sparring partner mentality. Luke's been to they say the big show. His losses to Lomachenko and Linares, and fights, are different. You know what I'm saying? The matchups will differ. In the situation with Ryan Garcia, they could say, well, you can't really gauge it against what Lomachenko and Linares did because that's a different time. You don't know where Luke's mindset is. And maybe after every loss, he just kind of got more into that opponent mode.
Well, look at a couple weeks ago, or was it a week ago, what we saw happen to James Kirkland.
Absolutely.
And not to compare James Kirkland to Luke Campbell, because James Kirkland's his biggest defeats have been outside the ring, but you could see he's kind of, I don't know, man. When the adversity hit him in the face, he folded.
Yeah.
And Luke Campbell did the same thing. He folded.
Well, yeah. And I mean, what really disappointed me about Luke Campbell.
Were you guys scoring the fight at all beforehand? What'd you have as the?
I was not scoring it, but I had it. I think I had it 4 rounds to 2 for Garcia.
I actually had it about an even fight, only because even though Garcia had his moments, if you really watch the fight, he missed a lot of those punches, and a lot of those were just wolf biscuits, man. He was just, they were nothing. You know what I'm saying? Luke was actually landing the more accurate punches, and he was catching Ryan at the end of the exchanges. So I was scoring them like this. Sergio and them were way off. I mean, they were like every round he's dominating. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they were way off, and they were getting a lot of heat. I've been reading some comments on getting a lot of heat.
Way off. Garcia was throwing a lot of punches, but a lot of them were just hitting the gloves. They were literally hitting.
Exactly.
Luke actually had pretty good defense. He got hit with some shots, but for the most part, all of Garcia's stuff was hitting, the gloves, and they were like, "Oh, look at this fantastic fury!"
Yeah, they just
and he didn't hit them once.
Yeah, they get so caught up. They get caught up in the hype.
They're killing me too, bro. You know what's killing me too? For a guy who's experienced, supposedly like Luke Campbell, former gold medalist and stuff, he was moving right into Ryan's power. I was like, what is this guy doing?
Well, he didn't utilize the jab.
No,
He was
nothing.
doing this. He
It
was
was
like,
weird. I've
it
never
was
seen him do
almost
that
like
before.
it was like a cat playing with a ball of a string.
Like a weird
Just-
rangefinder, you know?
But he was just doing this weird thing. It's almost like they were playing patty cake with the glove instead of just flicking a jab. And there was once or twice where I actually saw him throw a nice jab, and he snapped Garcia's head back. And you're thinking, why are you not?
Yeah.
What are you doing, Luke Campbell? This is not your MO. This is not something you've exhibited in all your previous fights where you're just kind of pawing a jab there. It looked silly. It looked confusing. It looked almost like he was trying to figure out, how am I going to get in on this kid, or how am I going to do it? Dude, you're a tall, lanky southpaw. Stick your jab, step to your right, and throw the straight right hand.
I do.
I noticed
the
that
one
too.
positive thing that I will say about Garcia is I do feel that he's got some strength. He showed it in Lucas. So I mean, he was definitely the stronger puncher in a lot of ways. And
But we knew that, I think,
But
though.
we knew that going in. He was a physically bigger kid than I thought he was compared to Luke. Luke had good size too, but he didn't have the girth that Ryan had. But once again, I'm going to go back to it. We said it. Garcia's too straight up. All it was going to take was just one, and he proved it. And then, you know, like I said, when you got a guy like Luke Campbell coming in, I don't think that you can really gauge where Ryan Garcia is right now. To start going out there and calling out guys like Tank Davis and everybody else, I think it's a mistake.
And that's what he did right after the fight. Of course, he was saying that prior to the fight ever taking place, he said he wants to beat him. He's going to go knock out Tank Davis and whatever. I don't know, that kind of leads us. Well, I don't want to get ahead of us. I know we want to talk about another fight that happened on that card, but we'll circle back around about him calling out Tank Davis, and if he is in fact, if it is in fact a legitimate call out, or if it's just what he's supposed to do, you know, to further enhance what he had just done. I know that after the fight, some of the comments, especially by, I think it was Chris Mannix and a few other people, and even De La Hoya was quoted. I mean, I think Chris Mannix made a question like something like, he's the shot caller at 135. And I'm no Teofimo Lopez fan at all. And I'm no Devin Haney fan, really. And I'm thinking to myself, this kid doesn't even have a belt. Well, I mean, he's got now what's called the WBC interim title, which I completely didn't even know they were fighting for any strap. Even
It seems like they do that with every fight now, man. I mean,
every
when
fight
they
now,
yeah,
they have to
okay, 'cause-
attach a belt to it.
Yeah, I'm the ABC Patriot champion. I mean, what the hell? I mean, they got a championship for, you know, People Magazine probably.
Listen. What they're trying to do, they're trying to legitimize the fights that they're putting in front of us. I don't think the fight was ever in question. My prediction yesterday was if that fight went the distance, it could have been a close fight, and they were going to give it to Garcia in a wide decision. Well, you know, I didn't think Campbell would fold that easy. To be honest, I didn't. But either way, it was being set up for a very, very wide decision win by Garcia, no matter what. All he had to do, like we said, was survive the 12 rounds. He was going to win a decision.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right, bro. You are.
Let's talk about the other fight that happened on that card.
Sure.
Great fight.
I think the fight of the night, obviously, we're talking about Alvarado
you-
versus Gutierrez. The Gutierrez from Venezuela.
Yep.
Why don't you give us your take on that fight, Eric? You caught more of it than me and Mike. Me and Mike were both clueless that everything started at 12.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do your research. No, just kidding.
I mean, that's what the zone tells you.
It was a great fight, Gutierrez and Alvarado. I had it scored 114, 111. All three judges scored it 113, 112.
So it was a close fight.
Yeah. Yes, and it was a close fight. I was really scared and thought that they were going to try and rob Gutierrez of this fight, Alvarado being the champion, but they didn't. I was actually very surprised that they actually, you know, ran a straight.
So Gutierrez was obviously the B side, and he got the nod in a close fight.
Absolutely, and
it
was kind of nice too. Well, Gutierrez. Well, there was some headbutts and stuff in the fight too, and I think that's where one of the cuts that he had was from a headbutt. But it was, of course, not caught or not seen, and the referee did a horrible job. Telling Gutierrez not to push down on the head, but Alvarado does it. He doesn't do anything to him. You know, I mean, so that's kind of where I was like, oh, this is not going to be good. You know, if it goes to the card.
Yeah, you can kind of start to get the feel. You can start get the feel of what they're going to do, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, exactly. And it was, I was really pleased that it actually went the right way. You know, Gutierrez, I guess, had just previously lost his mom to cancer. And so it was a very emotional fight for him. And you could see it once they announced him as the winner. I mean, he went to his knees, and
I saw that. I thought that was really cool, man.
Yeah, it was very, very well received from him. So
boxing got it right for once in recent, right?
Yeah,
let's don't get all over happy, because they're gonna screw one up next time.
Oh yeah. Well, we're allowed a mulligan every once in a while.
Exactly.
Maybe they didn't get paid enough on the judges' cards.
It's good to see a guy that goes out there, and like I said, you look at, and this is the thing that really bugs me about, and how you compare these two fights, the Gutierrez fight and the Garcia fight. Here you got a fighter in Gutierrez, his face looks like mash, man. I mean, this guy went through hell and back, never gave up, drops the guy, defending champion, in the final round. That seals the deal. And then you got a guy like Luke Campbell, who comes in with his gold medal pedigree and everything else, and the couple top people that he fought, and just folds like a paper doll, man.
Yeah, he folded like a wet paper bag.
Honestly, when I see things like that, for me personally, I lose respect for fighters. I don't ever want to hear them say you got heart. I don't ever want to say that, this or that. Don't ever talk about being the man when you can't beat a kid who's still a novice, who doesn't have your amateur background, who's arrogant and a punk, and you can't beat this guy. You couldn't find it inside of you to fight to the death. You're going to tell me, dude, unless you're getting hit by Mike Tyson or a small Toyota truck, there's no reason a body shot's going to knock you out, bro.
It's very rare that it happens. And when it does happen, I mean, it's normally from known body punchers. Mickey Ward.
But Luke looked like he was looking for a way out.
The round before that, he got hit. Remember, right towards the end of the round, or was it? No, it was a round and a half before that he got hit. He kind of got turned around. He got hit with a little nothing punch too.
Yeah,
which I don't understand. He got hit with a little nothing punch. He kind of turned his back for a second, and luckily the round ended, because if he would have went to his back,
did you see Lawrence Cole? Lawrence Cole was ready to step in and stop it.
Oh well, if you turn your back in a fight, the referee has every right to stop the fight.
Yep.
Yeah, he was lucky it happened at the end of the round. I want to say it was at the end of the 5th round, right? Because then he came on the 6th round and survived the 6th round. But at that point, you could already see it in his face. You just saw the look in his eyes. There was a look of like, you know what? I'm getting my paycheck for tonight. I want to fly back home. Blah blah blah. He just didn't look like a guy that had a killer instinct.
Did you?
And he never did. Not even from, like you said, when he was in the locker room prior to the fight. He just didn't look like a guy who was focused.
I went over to Sky Sports. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll tell you what, though, when Garcia, after getting knocked down and went back to the corner, they had of course, the camera in his face. He did, as far as I could tell, he did not look like, he looked scared, and with his eyes were wide open, and he was
like, oh shit.
Like, oh shit, I'm actually in a fight. So he actually did a good thing in, that 3rd round, coming out really heavy aggressive, because he ended up winning that.
It was a mind, to Luke Campbell.
Well, I think that's the only thing Ryan Garcia knows. He doesn't have like I said, he doesn't have a huge bag of tricks,
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys went over it, but I always go over to Sky Sports whenever there's a European involved, because I want to see what their take is on it. And I'll be honest with you, they were talking to Luke Campbell's trainer, and you could see it you could hear it in his tone. You could see it in his face. He was disgusted with Luke Campbell.
Who's his trainer? Was it McGuigan?
No. No, it was, the guy's name was Edmund something. Damn it.
I thought it was McGuigan's son.
No. Yeah. Maybe that is it. Edmund McGuigan or whatever it is. That's Barry McGuigan's
son. Yeah, Brendan.
Okay. Brendan. That's it.
Brandon or something. I don't know. No. I'm thinking of Brendan Ingle. What's his name? He trained.
I don't know. They were just talking to him, and there was another guy that was near him, a little short, ball-headed guy, and you could just
especially a McGuigan, and he was never a fighter, but his dad was a blood and guts warrior, man. His dad was you're gonna kill or be killed.
Well, in DAZN, when they were talking to Barry McGuigan live via satellite, and Barry said that he did what the PC thing was, to give Campbell his props, for representing, but you can see it in Barry's face too. It's like, dude, you're a pussy.
Shane McGuigan. Yeah, his son. Yeah, he's a decent trainer. He's worked with some good fighters out of the UK.
But he looked disgusted.
Did he really?
He didn't look like he wanted to talk. And I'll be honest with you. Don't be surprised if that relationship between those two fighters is over.
Yeah. Yeah, especially
'Cause
you put in a long 6. I mean, this was in a long extended camp because if you remember the fight got postponed once. It was
go
supposed
to
to
the
happen
thing.
in December.
Go to YouTube. You can find it. Go to the the Sky Sports simulcast of it because it's a little bit
And see
different.
the Sky Sports interview.
And hear the trainer what he's telling Campbell. He's like, "Are you here, man?" It's like he's trying to get Campbell to wake the fuck up. Like, what's
Yeah.
going on here? You know what I'm saying? What are you
Yeah.
waiting for? You know, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah, and that's one thing I didn't like. I just didn't like the look in his eyes. I didn't like the look in his. Well, I didn't like
Campbell had his,
his technique. It's like, dude, you're not here to win this fight.
No.
but
You're
No,
here with an opponent mentality. I'm sorry, you are. You're the B side, but you're fighting like the D side.
yeah, well, you know, there were a couple of moments. What you guys were saying before the fight, with he needs to get out there and he needs to pressure and he needs to be forward.
Go win
There
the
were a
fight.
couple of moments in that fight where he did. And that's when you actually saw him doing his best, like in the second round. And
Yeah.
let's see,
but even
I
the
had
second
him-
round, even the
and
second
the fourth round,
just
he had a
gave up the
decent
second part.
fourth round as
Yeah,
well.
the fourth round, the other round that I gave him.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? When he was pressuring, he actually did a better job. It's when he, you know, got laid back. I don't know.
You know what it's like, man. And I'm not. I mean, this is obviously something that thank God I've never had experience. But they say if you're in the wild and you're approached by something, let's say you stumble across a bear or a moose or something, if you cower and run, that is a cue
Instinct.
for them to attack. But if you make yourself big
Go
and
right
make
at 'em.
yourself strong, they'll think about it. And I mean, human nature. I mean, if you cower, like you said, AJ. Ryan Garcia smelled blood. He felt the
smelt
fear and he went after him. He's like, this guy's fucking afraid of me.
That's
Why?
what I'm saying.
He was probably
It-
thinking to himself, why is this guy
I'll tell you
afraid of
now,
me?
bro.
But he's afraid of
It's
me.
not that Luke Campbell was afraid of Brian Garcia. Luke Campbell was afraid of the moment. He was
That-
afraid of the moment of stepping up and being maybe who he could have been. Because, like Cepeda, Chon Cepeda, an amazing fighter, and I think the guy who's going to create a lot of damage and get some huge headlines out there coming up in 2021. Cepeda doubted himself and any of his shortcomings. It was him, not his opponent. And now, after this Baranchek fight, you know, Cepeda had to make a choice. After going down that many times, he could have gave up, but the warrior spirit came out and he changed his career. Luke Campbell is not that kind of fighter.
And you would think Luke Campbell would be the one to say, hey, I can call upon all my experience. He was a gold medalist. Jose Chontepeda only had 16 amateur fights.
That's what I'm saying.
He didn't even have a big amateur background. So what? I mean, he's kind of been learning on the job for the last
That's what I
8-9
say.
years.
A gold medal to me is like winning a Grammy. It doesn't mean shit anymore.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
the bottom line is, you look at a guy like Anthony Joshua. Okay, his situation with Andy Reese, the same thing. Here's a guy with the gold medalist. He just folded.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, to me, you know, as a guy who's been in the ring like both you guys, it's like it doesn't matter if it's a sparring session or if it's an actual bout. You give it your all. And if you even have a bit of doubt that you could have went on farther and you kind of shortchange yourself, get your gloves, throw them in the fucking trash, go home because your career's over. That's it.
And good luck living with yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean,
I'll tell you this, bro. It's like us playing a show. In the early going, I mean, you know, there were times when we'd be playing a show, and one thing we always said, no matter what happens in the song, guitarist, you know, hits the wrong chord, I drop my drumstick, something happens, never stop. And we never have in all our years.
Never
Yeah,
stop.
I mean, there was times, dude. I mean, I was having a horrible show and I couldn't keep my sticks in my hand and I was nervous and I was ready just to walk off stage. But if I would have done that,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It would have been the end. Just like being in there with the producer telling you that you're a piece of shit and you still deal with it. You know?
Hey, you know what? You know what it's like? It's like Eddie the Eagle. You know what I mean? If you give up, you're never gonna, you know, succeed. So
Yeah.
So go ahead, Mike. What are you saying?
Well, okay. So I think we've talked enough about the fight. You know, questions answered and a few unanswered, a few that we already knew the answers to. Where does Ryan Garcia go from here? You said that he was calling out Tank Davis. Is it a legitimate call out? Is this something that they can realistically put together? It could just be a ploy. It could just be because Tank Davis.
There has been ongoing news and ongoing negotiations. The problem is right now is I'm hearing that, which I don't understand.
Have there been negotiations or is it just banter back and forth? Because I don't think it's the holidays. I don't think there's been any formal sit down negotiations.
Well, you would think that with Tank Davis in his situation right now, if Ryan Garcia, let's be honest, you know, he's the golden ticket. he's the one that's got the shine right now, even though Tank Davis to me is the more sound fighter.
Well, I think Tank Davis is getting. Look at Tank Davis is fighting on a bigger platform. He's getting paid much better than Ryan Garcia.
Visually because of the social media shit.
See, and that's the thing. That's the angle that Garcia and DAZN and Golden Boy are going to use. Well, we've got 8 million Instagram followers, and Tank Davis is going to go, and 7.9 million of those people only watch one fight a year or 2 fights a year.
I'll tell you what, the numbers will tell the tale. If Ryan's numbers against Campbell are bigger than Tank Davis against Leo Santa Cruz, there it is.
Well, Leo Santa, but I don't think it's a fair comparison because the Leo Santa Cruz fight was pay-per-view.
Oh, was it? Okay,
it was pay-per-view. I mean, it wasn't on
right.
ESPN Plus or regular Fox or whatever. I mean, people had to shell out $80 for that fight. Whereas you could watch the DAZN card for what, $20, $19.99. You could sign up for a month and then you could cancel.
I was going to ask you something too. In the beginning of the fight, when they announced both fighters, I don't think you saw it, bro, because you're having problems. Eric, tell me if I'm right on this. Was that announcer completely off?
Yes.
Oh, he makes a lot of mistakes.
Dude, he was introducing one guy as the other guy. I'm like, dude, what the hell's going on here?
That's not the first time I've seen that guy. Guy's got a great voice, right? But he
up there, dude.
Up a lot, dude. I've seen that.
What's that guy's name? What's his name? Marlon Morello? What is it?
Moro Ronaldo.
I got Ryan Garcia over here with Campbell. Let's get ready to cook some chicken.
Let's talk about the lightweight division, guys. Okay, because I actually did a little bit of research, and this is something that we've all discussed off camera. Listen, a lot of people are saying you got promoters, you have announcers from each respective platform saying, "Oh, the lightweight division, the future of boxing." Blah blah. I do not believe so one bit, and I'm gonna tell you why. Not that it couldn't be, but I do not believe that these guys legitimately want to fight. There you go, Pendleton. This episode of ETR Live is brought to you by Pendleton Whiskey, right?
It's right here. It's the whiskey of whiskey drinkers.
805 and 805 and Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Hey, I just got a bottle of proper whatever.
Proper 12?
You got it. I'm waiting. I'll hold it for practice.
There you go.
Right.
So anyways,
it's empty.
This lightweight division, I really don't. I said something to you earlier, AJ. I think I made you laugh. I equated it to like you've got a 2-lane highway, and you got guys riding on the shoulder of the road, on the opposite side of the road. Everybody's making their own lane. They're making a 6-lane highway out of 2 lanes. Because the top 5-6 guys at the lightweight division, I promise you, we will not see any of them fight each other anytime in 2021.
That's
I'm gonna put it right now. That's a lock. That's my prediction for 2021. None of the guys at 135 that are holding any portion of any of the belts, whether it's interim or emeritus or whatever, champion in waiting or whatever, they will not fight each other. And
no, you're absolutely right, bro. And I'm telling you now, for any of you other guys out there that have shows like this, get a pen and a pad and start taking down notes, because what my brother said is gold. That's what it is.
Let's talk about the guys that are supposedly at the top of the lightweight division right now. Okay. Okay. Teofimo Lopez. Okay. He wins a very controversial, in my eyes, a very controversial decision over Lomachenko, right? Had everything stacked in his favor. He has no interest in fighting anybody. He is pulling the ultimate bitch move by trying to question other fighters' credentials and credibility. Everything that you said that he badmouthed Lomachenko against, or that he decried, he's now doing the exact same thing. Exactly. There's a big difference though. Lomachenko proved himself at that weight
by winning actual titles.
One by one against the top guys in the division. He is going to fight, and it's not a done deal yet, but I'm sure negotiations we're probably days away from an official announcement. He's going to fight George Kambosos in Australia. Okay. And then on that same card, it's going to be Maloney's going to get his rematch against Franco. I think what they're working on now is if Franco obviously has got to get a passport and then the COVID protocol and all that stuff, they got to figure out how they're going to do that. Okay. I mean, because the fighters have been coming here, but nobody, I think, from America has went down and fought on the Southern Hemisphere or fought in that part of the world. So we'll see how they map that out, which to me, and we've said this 100 times, George Kambosos isn't even a top 10 lightweight in my opinion. No, he's barely a top 20 lightweight.
If that.
His best win was a loss. He did not beat Lee Selby. I'll take that to my grave. Lee Selby won that fight I don't know, 8 rounds to 2.
I was so confident that Lee Selby won that I literally walked away from the television to go get something to eat, come back, and I was like, "Wait, Selby lost this fight?"
Okay, so there's Teofimo Lopez. He's not wanting to fight anybody. I mean, Cambosis, and then he's basically saying, well, Devin Haney ain't done this, or Ryan Garcia ain't done this. Who else do we have at 135 pounds? We got Devin Haney. Devin Haney was quoted as saying, oh, yeah, Ryan Garcia did his thing and whatever he did what he's supposed to do, but he still has a lot of flaws, this and that. Okay, he's got flaws. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Both guys are going to, they're going to do this knowing full well the fight ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And then they're going to go, well, the fight's got to marinate. They're both young in their career. You know, Leonard didn't fight Duran right out the gate. They let it marinate for a couple of years, whatever, which was bullshit because it was Duran coming up in weight and eventually got to the division where Sugar Ray Leonard was. And it was like, hey, you're the best guy in the division. I'm going to fight you. The other fighter we have at 135 pounds is Tank Davis. Tank Davis, like you said something earlier, AJ, do you think he really is interested in fighting Ryan Garcia?
I have my doubts because I'm gonna tell you why. I don't know why. I think Tank, for as talented as he is, he's one of those guys I think that kind of doubts himself in a lot of ways. And Tank, I think at the end of the day, he thinks to himself, if I'm gonna lose to somebody, I'm not gonna lose to this brash big mouth Ryan Garcia Putter boy. That's like kryptonite where I'm from. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, dude.
My face.
He'll lose all street cred.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, it'd be like punches coming from old ladies and shit. So I don't know if Tank really wants that, man. Maybe just stylistically, his management thinks it's a bad fight. I don't know, but I don't see. To me, Tank has always been the kind of guy you call him out, he's there. But Ryan's been calling him out for a while, and there's no response. I
mean, a year and a half ago, there was a little bit of talk, and he was, a lot of people were saying, a lot of people were telling Ryan Garcia, hey, kid, pump the brakes, blah, blah, blah. But if Ryan Garcia thinks this win over Luke Campbell is going to catapult him or is going to give him what he needs to beat a Tank Davis, I think I just don't think he beats Tank Davis any days of the week. But like you said, it's a fight that I don't think Tank Davis really needs. And he's got so many guys over there at the PBC, guys that are in and around 130, 135 that he could fight. So I don't think that fight's going to happen. I really don't think it's going to happen. The other one the other so-called interim champion along with Devin Haney is Rolly Romero. Okay. Romero's got a fight coming up I want to say towards the end of this month. And then 3 weeks, I think in 3 weeks, he's fighting a guy named Justin Paldo. Okay. Rolly Romero wins the decision right for that interim belt, right? Did not win that fight.
He lost that fight. I
clearly lost the fight.
Yeah.
Wins the belt. Yeah. And so right away. So who's the first defense going to be against? Defense of an interim title against this guy, Justin Paldo. Little interesting note about this guy, Justin Paldo, a guy with very limited, I think he's only 13-1 or 14-1, kid out of Houston, Texas, small, 5'7", lightweight. This will be his first fight over 8 rounds. The kid's never even fought a 10-rounder before. Oh, he's never even fought a 10-rounder, and he's getting a 12-round title shot against Rolando Romero.
That tells you boxing, man.
Okay,
Jesus Christ, man.
And here's the thing: the best guy on this guy, Justin Paldo's record, is a guy named Austin Dulay, who's fought quite a few times during COVID. He's a PBC fighter.
Okay, yeah.
His biggest test, he went up against Diego Magdaleno, who Diego Magdaleno is like the 130, 135 pound version of James Kirkland. You touch him on the chin with any little nothing punch, he goes. Well, he loses unanimous decision to Diego Magdaleno. I mean, Diego Magdaleno shouldn't be in there with anybody, and Delay loses to him. So, and then that's this kid's best fighter on his resume, and it was a no contest. The fight never got out of the first one. I don't know if there was a headbutt or something ended the fight. So you think to yourself, man, Raleigh, and for a guy as mouthy as he is,
yeah,
and he's fighting this guy, and nothing against this kid, Justin Paldo. He's going to take the shot. Hey, I'm 14-1. He probably figured, hey, I'm probably a good 2 years away from getting a title. I'm not even fighting 10 rounders yet.
Yeah,
and he's getting shots at a title. He's yet to fight a 10-rounder.
I don't understand where these guys get all these attitude, because I actually sat with Raleigh's family over at the Porter fight against Ugas. Great people, man. His little brother's a great kid. But yeah, he's become real mouthy lately. And he definitely, and
he's always been mouthy, bro.
Has he?
Well, it's because of where he trains at. He trains at the Mayweather gym. And that gym is just known for just everybody just,
I was thinking of something though. So, you look at the top 10 right now in
at 135?
At 135 right now, what's going on? And you look at it, you got guys like Teofimo Lopez, you got Lomachenko, you got Campbell, you got Garcia. You got these guys. If you were to go back in time, and I'm not trying to be one of those guys that throw time in there, but let's just go back to the era of Alexis Aguero, a true kingpin that never got this kind of praise like they put on a young Garcia.
Exactly.
God. And this guy was a guy who fought the best and who was a real champion. You know what I'm saying? Back then, those days, you fought your mandatory, the guy who earned the shot, not who you decided was the right fit for you.
Not who you can make one phone call and get the person elevated to a mandatory position because you don't want to fight.
There was a bunch of stuff to go through when he stepped up and he took on Aaron the Hawk Pryor's, because Pryor was dominant at 140 pounds, and he was like, "This is the man I want." It was a mistake because Pryor ended up winning. And I was telling my wife, as a matter of fact, this morning, I said, "You know what would have been funny?" I go, and as much as I loved Aguero, I loved Aaron Hawk Pryor. And the thing is he used to He used to do something whenever he would hurt a fighter. The referee would tell him to go, or he dropped him, and he'd tell him to go to a neutral corner, and he put his arms up like this, and it was Hawk time. I thought to myself, what would happen in a bout between Terrence Crawford in his prime against Aaron the Hawk Pryor? I'll tell you what, first or second round knockout. We have descended when it comes to fighters at that kind of a level. You know what I'm saying? These guys are too worried about their glossy record. And I blame guys like Floyd Mayweather, who put so much consideration into that undefeated record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why, and that goes down to why I think these lightweights are going to avoid each other. Every single one of them, their ego is so big. Their ego far exceeds their talent, in my opinion. And ego doesn't always win you a fight. It's important to have confidence, whatever, and fight, with a bit of a mean streak or a bit of a, nobody can beat me attitude. But their inflated egos far surpass whatever talent they think they have. And it's the proof's in the pudding. It's not even a matter of us. These guys will not fight each other. This is such a far cry. You got 5 pounds north, 140, which I think next to the welterweight division, I think the most competitive, most exciting division is 140, because you've got everybody fighting everybody. Ramirez and Taylor are about to get it on. I mean, Baranchik, Zepeda. Ramirez fought Zepeda. You've got Josh Taylor fought Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis clamoring for another shot at one of the top. I mean, these guys are actually fighting each other. These guys are not afraid to lose the O.
Well, why do you think Terrence Crawford bailed up to 147? Because he didn't want to get into that. He didn't want to join that party.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And right now, you look at it, you got Ramirez number 1 at 140. Who's getting ready to fight. Obviously this is
Josh Taylor.
Josh Taylor, and if he wins this fight, he's the next opponent for Terrence Crawford. I will guarantee you. He's going to fight Terrence Crawford. But you got Zepeda at number 2. You know what I'm saying? So if he trips up, maybe Zepeda gets that fight.
Me personally, I don't think Ramirez is going to beat Josh Taylor.
No, I think
Josh Taylor wins that fight. I think Josh Taylor's just crafty and slick enough, but what Josh Taylor has is he's tough.
Yeah.
He's like Prograis. He stood toe-to-toe with Prograis, a guy that I really thought was going to win that fight handily, and Josh Taylor proved me wrong. And he proved to me that guy's tough, man. He's a tough
I think the only
Englishman.
I think the only knock on that division is the fighters that are there right now. Don't get me wrong. With the exception to guys like Zepeda, Taylor, Prograis, and there's really not. I mean, you look at the guys that are in the top thing right now. I mean, Pedraza, he's suffered his shortcomings, but he's done right. Arnold Barboza, he made a great account of himself his last fight, but to me, he's not a world beater. Then you got still guys like Victor Postal hanging around and Robert Easter, and to me, it's just not a lot of. It's not what we got going on in the welterweight division right now.
And Maurice Hooker went up to 147. Am I right?
Yeah, correct.
All right, so let's. They're saying that the Lopez Taylor fight might happen this summer. Okay, so your early predictions.
Lopez, who? Teofimo Lopez?
No, it's let me see here.
Or Ramirez.
Taylor.
Ramirez.
They're saying no. They're saying Teofimo Lopez versus. It's a potential for this summer. If that fight
against Josh Taylor.
I guess, against
Josh Taylor. Well, that's if Teofimo holds true to his word and does move up to 140. But now he's saying he's thinking about sticking around at 135 because I think he can fight guys like Cambosis. But they'll give him the Cambosis. But once that fight's over, he's gonna have to fight somebody.
I was about to ask you that question, bro. I was gonna say after he gets his mulligan, what does he do after that? Because he can't just go around and keep avoiding these guys.
They'll elevate somebody else. I mean, I know.
They'll strip him of his titles.
I know Lomachenko wants the rematch. He has no interest in it. I know Nakatani won a big fight a few weeks ago. Nakatani's the kind of guy that would say, "Hey, give me my shot again. Maybe Nakatani, I don't know, man. The kid showed a lot of resiliency in that fight against Verdejo. I mean,
well, he wasn't weight trained. He actually had time to train.
Yeah, so like I think he might try to hightail it up to 140 once Taylor and Ramirez beat each other up, right, and move up. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But then you got Prograis still there. You guys Zepeda there. Both those guys, I think, knocked Teofimo out in 6 rounds or less.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now I'm on the right thing here. So Ramirez and Taylor, if that fight goes on this summer, and it looks like it probably will. Who do you guys see as coming out the victor? Let's get you on tape right now, early.
Taylor.
I agree. Mike, how do you see Taylor winning that fight?
I think honestly, I don't think he knocks out Ramirez because Ramirez has a good chin. I think he wins a comfortable 12-round decision, especially if they fight the fight in the UK.
I agree. I think my only knock on Taylor is Taylor still has a tendency. His infighting to me is still very erratic, and he ran into those issues with Prograis. And I wouldn't call Prograis. Prograis is a masterful boxer. Honestly, he's the dark horse next to Zepeda in that division. But I mean, the thing is that Ramirez will have his opportunities. It's just a point where how wide Josh Taylor wants to win this decision, because he's an action-packed kind of fighter, but he doesn't have the punch. That's going to be Taylor's shortcomings moving up in weight or even trying to defend that title against fighters like Zepeda and others.
So you don't think he's got the punch to yeah, I mean, I think he's got respectable power, but no, he's not a puncher like Zepeda, like a Prograis.
No.
And I got to be honest, I mean, Ramirez hit Zepeda with some decent shots, and I talked to Chon. He never really hurt him. He took those shots like nothing. I mean, he took those shots well. So I think Ramirez is another guy who doesn't really have a.
I know that fight. I mean, you talk to Chon, I know a lot, and that's got to be a fight fundamentally that I know Zepeda's got to go back and go, how did I lose to this guy?
That's the fight he wants more than anyone. They tell him right now about you fighting whoever he wants to fight. He wants that fight because he First off, he knows he won the fight. Second off, he probably knows what he had been going through during that fight, during the camp on that fight. He's more. I think that was only his second fight, I believe, with his brother. His brother's always been there, but not as the head trainer. I want to say that was his second fight with Rene, his brother, as the head trainer. And I think I think he's just getting more comfortable with him, and he knows what he needs to do. He had a better camp for the Baranchik fight.
I just think Zepeda's confident now, man. I mean, come on. You get in there with a beast like Baranchik, and don't get me wrong, I got nothing but respect for Baranchik. I mean, this guy, I don't care what people say. That guy's still a dangerous fighter.
Most guys would have folded, man, but
for Zepeda, the thing that impressed me the most about Zepeda was those knockdowns, with the exception of one. He wasn't hurt. It was more of just Baranchik's sheer power that drove Zepeda to the ground.
Yeah.
And Zepeda got up and he was like Terminator, but to come back and have that kind of his senses already back and to be able to land that.
Well, to land that punt was at the 9th round, to land that 9th or 10th round, to land that power shot.
Dude, I was cringing when I
fight of the year. Obviously, I mean, boxing writers definitely pinned that one as fight of the year.
Dude, I got a mark on my roof, dude, right here for when I jumped. The only time I did, dude, I jumped so high, dude. I was so fucking. Dude,
you hit your head,
dude, on my disco ball right here, dude. But no, dude, I'm serious, though, dude. I was so happy, dude, because I was ready to. I told myself, if Chon loses this fight, I swear to God, I am not going to watch any more fights in this goddamn studio room that of fighters out of Alcazar's team or even former fighters, because it's a fucking jinx.
Jinx. So, all right. So let's finish up on the 100th fight. I mean, I think we're all in agreement. Eric, what do you think? I just don't think these guys are in any rush to fight each other. They're all going to kind of make their own lane. They're going to use different platforms. I'm on DAZN, I'm on ESPN, I'm on PBC, and they're all just going to continue to try to fool the public. But the real boxing fans know, hey, we want to see you guys all fight each other. Do a Super 6 like they did years ago, or a World Boxing Super Series with the 135 pounder. They'll never do it because
they're all going to price themselves out.
They'll use exactly. They'll price themselves out. They'll use money as the reason. Well, I'm not with it. Okay,
that's what it comes down to. That's completely what it comes down to. Is money, rather than actually being a true boxer or a true fighter, I guess you might say, and wanting to take on the best of the best, like when when we were younger and the fights that we used to see.
Back in the day, there was no Instagram. Back in the day, very few fights were like pay-per-view. What you have now is you got Tank Davis saying, hey, I'm the pay-per-view guy. I fought on pay-per-view. None of you guys have fought on pay-per-view, right? And then you got because Teofimo didn't fight on pay-per-view. That was on free ESPN. He's the free guy. So Tank Davis is going to use that. Ryan Garcia is going to go, I got 8,000 or 8 million Instagram followers. 12-year-old pimple faced girls follow me on Instagram. So I'm the A side. And then you're going to have Rolly's going to be like, well, I'm with TMT, Floyd Mayweather, so I'm the man. And then you got who's the other one I'm missing? Oh, you got Teofimo is going to go, well, you got to talk to Bob. You got to talk to Bob. Whatever my promoters
I'm now, bro.
all got a fucking built-in excuse. They got built-in excuses already.
Real easy. There was an old quote that was said a long time ago when they spoke to a great lightweight champion who actually fought lightweight named Bobby Schoolboy Chacon, who I really admired. And Bobby said a long time ago, I didn't get into boxing to make money or headlines. I got into boxing because I like to fight.
Yeah.
The problem is we don't have. Take that, Larry Merchant. You don't got my quotes, buddy. But I'm telling you, that's the problem with fighters today. They're so focused on money and how they're going to generate popularity.
That's it.
How they're going to remain undefeated, so that they can go back to Twitter when no one's around and talk shit on people, rather than risk that and get in the wars and fight and really, really live up to the tradition of boxing and the division or the belt in which they hold.
Which is why certain fighters today, I think, are so underappreciated.
Absolutely.
And not to keep beating a dead horse, but guys like Chon Cepeda, he'll fight anybody. He'll fight anybody from 135 all the way up to 140. He'll fight anybody.
I think honestly, what's going to hurt Chon is Chon. Not Chon being in his a lack of confidence. That punch that he caught Branchak with, nobody wants to touch that.
Yeah, he scared a lot of people away with that.
Scared a lot of people.
And his resiliency. I mean, they're talking about the resiliency of.
Chon's a big, good-sized guy too. He's not like.
Yeah.
Believe me. I mean, honestly, people could say you got to get guys like Sergio Mora. And here's the thing, another knock. And I'm not trying to get off the subject here, but when I start listening to a guy talk to me about technique and what it takes to be a great fighter in Sergio Mora, a guy who didn't have great technique and was nowhere near considered a great fighter, believe me.
Nowhere near it. His biggest accomplishment was winning the Contender Series.
Yeah, I guess the guy who hadn't fought in 6 years. I mean, it's bullshit. But the bottom line is, a guy like Chon Cepeda is creating his own destiny. And the one thing that Chon could take out of it all, when it's all over, when it's all said and done, is that the fans that loved him for his sheer will and his fighting spirit. When people go back and look at people like Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia, they're going to talk about all of the bullshit that was outside of the ring and not the wars that were created, the classics in the ring.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. So we talked a little bit about how these guys all have built-in excuses. And we were talking about how they're going to price themselves out. There's something else we wanted to close on today, and this is something that had transpired in the last week or so, and we didn't focus on it in any previous show. But this was the reported offer that was made from Top Rank to Sean Porter for a Terrence Crawford Sean Porter fight, where they offered Sean Porter a paltry $1 million to face Terrence Crawford, which, in my opinion, is not a real offer. It's
Mike,
like
forget that. Why don't you explain why 1 million is not sufficient, not just because of what things, but what the breakdown is in some fashions, because the backside of boxing.
Well, I mean, look at, okay, he's going to pay his trainer, which is his dad. He's going to pay his promotional company. He's got to pay, obviously, some type of a sanctioning fee. But before you know it, that $1 million is chopped all the way. And then, you're in a 40% tax bracket. And before you know it, you're getting $400,000 of that $1 million purse. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's very, very common, which is why most of these guys, these high profile fighters now, if you've ever seen now, you look at the banners and they go, brought to you by, Premier Boxing Champions in association with TGP Promotions, Sean Porter Promotions, Danny Garcia Promotions. These guys start promotional companies. They're pretty much all, if you want to know the truth be told, it's like a straw man company. They're just fronts. They're like fronts for money laundering. And they divert the money into that. I mean, but it is what it is. They're using the tax code to their benefit. And I'm not mad at them at all, but these guys have to do this kind of stuff.
I absolutely applaud them for that.
That's great,
Mike. Absolutely applaud them for that.
You just got us right now. Somebody's making a phone call right now to Mafia guy. Like, hey, the Mignola brothers, they know, take them.
No, but it's true though. These guys have to start promotional companies to be able to, kind of. I'm not going to say hide the money, but they have expenses, whatever that they can drum up as expenses to promote themselves, whatever, But this $1 million offer is not only insulting. I mean, I know Bob Arum says, well, I'm losing money on Terrence Crawford, which he is. He's lost a lot of money on Terrence Crawford. He's paying him. I think he's getting a guaranteed $3 million a fight. And in some cases, maybe he's getting a little bit more. But they just paid Kell Brook $2 million to fight Terrence Crawford. Now, this is a guy
Well,
that
they admittedly said was damaged.
damaged goods. You know, he hadn't won any high profile fights in several years, probably since his win over Porter 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been at least 4 or 5 years, right, since he won that fight. So, I mean, how do you justify that? And for the people that are saying that, well, Terrence Crawford's trying to fight these guys, but they don't want to fight. No, that's like me walking up to you and you're driving a brand new Mercedes and you go, hey, you know, I'll give you $20,000 for your car. Well, I'm not going to sell you my $50,000 car for 20 grand. Well, then you really don't. If you're trying to sell your car, well, then you really don't want to sell your car. It's like, I want to sell my car, but I'm not trying to give my shit away.
Yeah, you know what it comes down to, bro. It's total bullshit because at the end of the day,
it's the reverse of pricing yourself out. You're underbidding guys. You're making low ball offers because you know they're not going to accept it,
and they don't accept it, and then you turn the table on them. But the thing is, it's just like with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Terrence Crawford's done nothing to be the A side on that. It doesn't matter if ESPN has proclaimed him, pound for pound champion. That means nothing.
Doesn't matter that Tim Bradley walks around wearing some of Terrence Crawford's used underwear. Doesn't matter.
Tim Bradley, he turned himself into a fanboy. Whatever. I didn't think of that much of him as a boxer, anyways.
No,
whatever. But the point is that you got these guys who are doing this stuff like this. So Terrence Crawford if these guys are truly confident in who they are, why does the percentage matter? Even a 10% or a 5%. Let the other guy be the A side. Go in there and handle business. And guess what? The bank vault is open for you for the rest of your career. But see, they don't have that kind of confidence because they don't want the fight. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So it's all bullshit.
They're content, like I said, with making 6 lanes out of a 2-lane highway.
I'm telling you, dude, in the Teofimo Lopez-Lomachenko fight, the most surprised person who won that fight was Teofimo Lopez. He was the most surprised because, I think he got in the ring and there was an actual moment where Teofimo felt I wasn't going to win this fight, but then with Loma's kind of low input in the beginning, that was his catalyst. So hopefully if that fight does happen, Lomachenko watches it, because I'll tell you now, if he comes out and does that bullshit again, there's something wrong.
Well, no, it's not. I don't think it's going to happen. To be honest with you, I don't think Teofimo is going to go anywhere near Lomachenko.
Well, Teofimo's going to eventually get forced to fight these mandatories. The top 10 is filling up with some pretty talented guys. He can't run and scoot and jump over these guys and find some guy from Indonesia. It ain't going to happen,
He'll try, but let's go back to to this low ball offer. I think
it's terrible.
I mean, $1 million. I mean, come on. I think Porter got well above that for fighting guys like Ugas, for fighting guys like who was his last fight against?
Well, he made $3 million against I think it was or $2 million against Keith Thurman.
Yeah, he probably made $2 million that we know about.
Yeah, that we know
about. Now we don't know about the back end money.
We don't even know how much he made against Errol Spence. I don't know. I know it was a good payday.
Oh, against Errol Spence, I want to say it was probably I'm going to guess probably between $3 and $4 million.
But see, yes. But for an organization as big as Top Rank, to throw that kind of offer to not just a respectable guy and a hardworking guy in Porter, but a likable guy, a guy who's got the right personality to make this matchup exciting. But Terrence Crawford doesn't want that kind of fight.
No,
he wants another damaged fighter in there, a guy who's not going to come at him, a guy who's not going to try to fight. He's going to let him control. He wants to control the all elements of the fight, And at the end of the day, Terrence Crawford's just hurting himself, because the true boxing fans are already seeing the type of fighter that he is.
I agree.
But I'll tell you what really sickens me is the fact that regardless if people want to say Callum Smith was tailor-made for Canelo, and that Canelo's management are masters at matchmaking, the bottom line is Canelo fought a guy who was undefeated and who was considered the number one. When has Terrence Crawford even come close to that?
Yeah, it's yet to happen. It's yet to happen.
So hey, let's just say that for some miraculous reason, Crawford and Porter do meet up. How do you guys see the fight going?
I think Porter wins that fight. That's just me, Mike. I don't know.
I think Porter just listen. If it goes, I guess it just depends. If it goes the full 12, it depends on where the fight's fought. You know what I mean? Because we saw Sean Porter push Errol Spence to the brink. In my opinion, Errol Spence is a much stronger, physically more imposing fighter than Terrence Crawford.
Very skilled.
Yeah.
He's a dog, and Terrence Crawford's skilled as well. But Errol Spence has something inside of him that he's fucking relentless. Excuse my French. He's relentless, and you can hit him, and he's just going to keep coming. I don't.
Yeah.
I think Porter could possibly win that fight by a late round stoppage, just with sheer overwhelming Terrence Crawford.
Well, the one thing that I noticed, if you go back and watch Porter against Errol Spence, if you were to compare Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford's defensive skills, Errol Spence is leaps and bounds above Terrence Crawford. I don't know how many times I've seen Crawford take huge punches. Even in the Cal Brook loss, he took punches. Kavalutis knocked him down, even though he didn't get the credit for it. So what happens with Porter? Well, I'm not going to say he's a one-punch knockout guy, but he's strong. He's physically strong guys. Starts catching nonstop on a guy who's not a very elusive or a hard guy to hit in Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
He's got like a 4-inch reach advantage, Crawford over Porter.
He doesn't use it. Crawford's never fought like a tall fighter.
I think most guys have that reach advantage over Porter. Porter's a shorter guy, but they list about 5'7", I guess, for 5'7", 5'8". Porter
5'7".
A great way to gauge that fight is to go back and watch Terrence Crawford fight against Yuriorkis Gamboa. Gamboa was a smaller guy who bull rushed him the entire fight and hurt Crawford a couple times in the fight.
Yeah.
Sean Porter's that same type of fighter, just much bigger.
And much stronger.
Thank you.
Much stronger. Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter's probably one of the strongest guys physically in and around 147. He's physically a strong guy. Everybody says it.
If nobody believes that Sean Porter's as talented as he is, go back and watch the Errol Spence fight. And then go back and watch what Errol Spence just did to a very talented Danny Garcia. That shows you how good Sean Porter is. Him and his dad, Kenny Porter, have done a great job. They had a great game plan. Believe me, they will be prepared for everything and anything against Terrence Crawford. Why?
Yeah.
Because Terrence Crawford is nowhere near the threat or the challenge that Errol Spence was.
I agree.
Give me 1 second. So, Mr. Sean Porter, if you are listening, or if somebody actually gets this to you, okay, remember, Enter the Ring Live, okay, because we are calling for your win over this.
Say it, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't go distance.
Guy. Anyway, so that's what we call for. So, Mr. Sean Porter, if you are listening, just understand and know that you got 3 guys here that actually do think that you have the skills and the determination
and the toughness,
to knock the hell out of this guy. So good job.
And that's the thing too that gets overlooked, bro, is Sean Porter's skills. Sean Porter's got a great jab for a guy who always gives up height and reach to most of the guys he fights. He knows how to get that jab in there. He knows how to work behind that jab, and
against a guy like Errol Spence, it was hard to do because Errol had those equal skills. But Crawford's not that way. They talk about his jab being so well schooled. No, it's not. It's a pushing side glance, and he admires his work. He's straight up. He's flat footed.
Well, he was losing on my cards. He was losing. He lost every round to Kell Brook.
Yeah.
Until he hit Kell Brook with a little nothing right hand that put him on.
I thought it was gonna be set in stone. I thought it was like Moses getting the fucking commandments burned into the stone. It was done. I was like, dude, Kell was already catching with shots. I'm like, dude. Because you could see it in what Terrence Crawford, when you start to catch him, his defense gets worse. Because then now he's got to actually risk something. Once you get a fighter behind the 8 ball and they got to play catch up, they're going to take those risks. But if you fight Terrence Crawford's fight and let him pick and choose when you're going to engage and he gets up on the scorecards, you're not going to catch him. Okay? You got to make the fight happen. Meaning put your head in his chest and bomb on this guy. Make his back live on those ropes.
Well, that's what Porter will do. Porter will make him so uncomfortable in that fight. He'll smother everything that Crawford does, and he'll rough him up on the inside. I believe in. Like I said, I could see I can't see them giving Sean Porter a decision because Sean Porter's come up short on a couple of close decisions. But I think he could overwhelm Terrence Crawford. I really do.
Well, I mean, look at it. Who does Terrence Crawford even have on his radar right now? I'm already here. I will guarantee you the next fighter he fights, we already know Ramirez is a done deal. That's going to happen eventually if Ramirez gets past Taylor.
Well, no. Even if he doesn't get past Taylor, because you know what's going to happen? He'll say, if he loses to Taylor, he's going to say, well, I had trouble making 140. I need to move up to 147. And then ESPN and Top Rank will make it look like, that Ramirez is, the next great thing that's coming up in weight because he couldn't make 140 anymore, which is nonsense. He can make the division still. That's what they'll do. That's exactly
But
what they'll do. They'll whoever they decide to, they're going to do this with Cambosis. They're
Oh,
going to do
yeah.
this with Cambosis when he fights Teofimo. They're going to just try to build him up to, oh, is this guy? And most people, and when I say most casual boxing fans, don't even know who George Cambosis is. They could run into him on the street and they won't know. But ESPN and Top Rank will do a masterful job at building this guy up. And he's an undefeated fighter from Australia. Tough. Look what Jeff Horn did to Manny Pacquiao a couple years ago. Blah, 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 blah.
And you know what we're going to do? We're going to go on there. We're going to say, you know what? You can paint a Yugo gold, but it's still a piece of shit. Bottom line is, dude, it doesn't matter, bro.
Yeah.
The bottom line is the guy's garbage. Look at his ring resume. All you gotta do is go on Boxing Rec. I'll put the post on our YouTube and with the guy's name and look at who he's fought. Matter of fact, I'll put on highlights of his fight against Lee Selby, and you'll see what kind of fighter is. He's a very unpolished, mediocre, flat-footed, no power, just it's tailor-made for a guy like Teofimo Lopez to go in there. But unfortunately, if this is how Teofimo wants his career to go, because here's the thing is, Teofimo is in boxing prison. And I'm going to tell you why. Eventually, he's got to fight. Once he gets past Kambosos, he's going to have to fight one of these monsters at the lightweight. He's not going to want that. So he's going to use the excuse to move up to the next division. But waiting there are monsters like Chon Zepeda and Regis Prograis. So then he's going to go, okay, so where do I go from there? Am I going to step up again? There is no future for Teofimo Lopez unless he starts fighting better fighters and improves his skills. That's it.
And like I said, we look at I'm all one for giving the kid an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
To give an opportunity. Well, okay, he just won the fight a few months ago against Lomachenko, even though I don't think he won the fight. But either way, on paper, he got the victory, give him a chance. But when you're picking your first opponent as a George Kambosos, a guy who on the same card did not win the fight.
No, it was one of the heaviest booed decisions. And when I went back and looked at the tape, my God, man.
Yeah, it was horrible. I mean, it was horrible.
2020's been
Who did he fight? Hold on one second. Who did Kambosos fight?
He fought Lee Selby, and Lee Selby comfortably won the fight. You could see it when the fights were over, man. Selby was celebrating. Kambosos just put his head down, and then I think he might have half-hearted through it. He knew he lost the fight. He knew that he lost at least 8 of those rounds.
Lee Selby's the exact opposite of Luke Campbell. Lee Selby's a guy who would die in the ring. Lee Selby's a guy who comes to fight. You know what I'm saying? Luke Campbell, to me, honestly, is an embarrassment. And honestly, if Luke Campbell's listening to this, go win a regional title in the UK or just retire, because I would never waste another minute watching the guy fight again. He's got no heart.
No, the only reason why I would watch him fight is to see him get knocked out.
Oh yeah, you know, and like I said, honestly, I went back. I was so upset. I watched hold on, bro. I watched the Lomachenko Campbell fight. You know what? I think Lomachenko could have knocked Campbell out. I think Lomachenko wanted just to continue to embarrass this guy and take him to 12 rounds.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Is he was just pop shotting him for the last 5 rounds.
Okay, so once again, I'm going to be a little bit devil's advocate.
Okay.
Yeah, Campbell did not, he should have got up faster and should have actually made that a real fight. Okay, but I'm always for the underdog. I like the underdog, and so Campbell, if you're listening, keep pushing hard, because you know what?
He's done, bro. He's done.
All right, go shine your gold. Go shine your gold medal and take another picture with it so you can show your kids later on. The bottom line is, the guy, you don't get those kind of opportunities. There's so many hardworking fighters that don't get even one opportunity, and this man had 3. He was handed the golden ticket, the Willy Wonka ticket, against a kid that was beatable, that had this kind of push behind him. He could have catapulted himself for another huge opportunity and payday, but because of his lack of confidence, done.
Yeah,
I agree.
That deer in the headlights look he had for even the locker room.
That's a coward shit, man. It's not like you're getting in there with John Mugabe. Jesus Christ, dude. You're getting there with a pretty boy from freaking Victorville that got kicked off his soccer team. Come on, man. Wake up, dude.
Kicked off the soccer team.
You know? But what are we at? What time are we at right now?
We're at about an hour now. We're at an hour right now.
Okay,
I'm having fun.
Hold on.
I'm having fun.
Before we leave, okay, so the people at Hood River Distilleries, this is empty. Enter the Ring would like to have 3 nice, I don't know how many ounces this is, but we would like 3 bottles. So if
Enter the Ring will take a 12-pack of Pabst Blue Ribbon. No, we don't care.
We'll take whatever we can get. So Hood River Distilleries, Pendleton is our drink of choice. So know that, and send some our way. We do appreciate it.
For you people that don't know, we're not just boxers. we were football players too. Look at it. I actually made it in the Hall of Fame along with my brother Michael. My brother Eric should have made it in the Hall of Fame. Hopefully, maybe one day he will because he was the beast. But I made it as a player and as an owner. My brother Mike too. I mean, we're athletes. We're athletes.
Yeah. Which is why it's hard for us to watch guys like Campbell go in there and just, and I don't want to say lay down. He could have went down with any other little nothing shot, but to in my opinion, to just not really fight to win the fight.
Well, you didn't want to get hurt. And I'm so tired of this. I don't want to get hurt mentality because you know what?
You're in the wrong sport, man.
Yeah, I always go back to this one memory I have. My brother Eric, the Red. We were in San Diego playing against this team called the San Diego Storm. I know for 99.9% of you guys don't know who we're talking about, but a dangerous team.
I totally remember that.
My brother had already hurt his shoulder, and he had a really bad shoulder coming back from the military. And the story is we had to stop this monster named Muncie, this beast, this 245-pound fullback. So Eric goes in there and he sacrifices his body and stops this guy, knowing he's going to get hurt, and had to literally be carried off the field. But that, to me, is the warrior spirit. Something that guys like Luke Campbell never learned.
No.
Hey,
well, you have to be born with it, bro. You have to be born with it.
Hold on a second. I gotta set it straight. I didn't get carried off. I ran off the field with my right shoulder completely. I know, because I'm the one that popped it back in. Yeah, and my older brother AJ snapped it back in, and it was probably 10 minutes later I was back in the game.
Oh yeah, you were.
That's what kind of fighter you need to be in life. Well, in life and in everything else, you just have to not give up. You keep going. You keep moving forward. You don't stop.
I would have earned so much more respect for Luke Campbell if he would have got it from that shot, and no matter what, if he would have ended up getting starched, whatever. Yeah. But man, come on, Luke Campbell.
Go from one hand to the two hands, it was like a dramatic. It was like I was watching the end of Rocky when Apollo went down. Dude, it was bullshit. And the bottom line is, no, you're absolutely right, Eric. You know that perfectly, man. I mean, we live in times right now where it seems like mediocrity is the thing to be. And the people that have actually earned their skills, have earned their right to be acknowledged, just keep coming up short. Hopefully, guys like us who really love the sport, we're going to continue to demand the best. We're going to continue to call out these guys who think that they're going to sidestep things in order to achieve greatness. This is not going to happen on our watch.
Yeah, we're going to call you out, man. If you're a guy,
call you out, man.
Like I said, right now, I'm calling out the entire 135-pound division, with the exception of Vasyl Lomachenko, who will fight anybody and has proven it. I think maybe Lomachenko goes back down to 130. If he does fight 135, I think he'll stick around at 135 if he can guarantee a rematch with Teofimo. I think he will, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Teofimo,
even though Lomachenko at 130 against Burchelt, would be a great fight. It would be Lomachenko wins a fight, but it just action pack. I mean, you're talking about a guy in Burchelt that's just a monster.
Burchelt's a monster, but he doesn't have the speed to deal with Lomachenko. No.
But Mike, for our next show, I'd really like you to divulge more to this thing with the lightweight. I think you're onto something, because the bottom line is these guys are going to do this. They're going to sidestep each other. It's going to turn into what it was in the 80s.
We'll be here a year from now, right?
Yeah.
We'll come back in January of 2022 and we'll sit here and go, hey, remember what we said a year ago, guys? And out of all these fighters, none of them fought each other, or when they will fight each other is if one of them loses to somebody they weren't supposed to lose to, and then they have to jump back in the ring with another guy who will be a name on their resume,
Well, I'll tell you how they stop this bullshit too, is by stop giving out these bullshit titles and make a guy earn a title, so they don't win a regional title and walk around like, well, I already got a title, so I don't need him.
Well, it's not even regional, bro. It's interim. It's interim titles now.
Well, here's the thing. I really wish that boxing would get their head out of their ass, quite honestly, and put one title, just one.
Yeah. Make
these guys fight against each other and find out who the true champion is of that weight class. There is no WA or WBA, WBO. One.
I'll tell you what, bro, it's not going to happen. The closest thing we've seen in the last several years is when Sauerland, right? Cali Sauerland put together the World Boxing Super Series. That's the closest they came to it, because they, belt or no belt, they took the best of the best in those divisions. They did one for the cruiserweight division, and they did one for the
really got oversighted. That got oversighted, and
it did. It didn't be. It did too, right? Because you know why? Because I think you had organizations like the WBC are trying to basically discredit it and say, well, this is, we have the champion or whatever. But these guys were willing to get in there in a round robin style single elimination tournament. I mean, Usyk came out as a cruiserweight champion, and those were the best cruiserweights in the world fighting.
But those are guys that want to fight against each other, bro. We
Exactly.
live in a world where now they give kids participation trophies. Back in our days, if we didn't win the championship, we didn't get a participation trophy. You know what I got? A slice of pizza at the end of the game, and I went home with tears in my eyes, and I got better.
And on top of that, you got to see the other guys get the trophies. You got to watch the other guys get the trophies, giving you that little bit of to motivation for the next year.
Oh yeah, dude, it made me even more angry. But the thing is, Mike said the thing greatest about interim titles. So when are we gonna have an interim gold medal? Is everything gonna be a step down? There's gonna be, well, here's the winner, but here's the sidestep guy. It's got to stop, guys.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, to anybody in the lightweight division, the one guy who wants to truly prove that he's the next Alexis Aguero, or maybe just the first of a next great fighter, step up, accept the challenge. If you don't get the challenges, call them out. Do whatever it takes. Take the smaller cut of the gate, whatever it is, but prove your shit in the ring. You're not going to win on social media. Twitter doesn't win you fans.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, talking about lightweights, though. Okay, so if there was a fight between, let me see here, Lopez and Devin Haney, how do you see that fight going?
I don't know, because for me, I'll say it quick. I think I go with Teofimo only because I don't know. I mean, Devin Haney's got skills. He's got speed. But there's something about him that gives me this choir boy thing about him, like he's a crybaby. I don't know what it is about him. Something about him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
And his dad talks too much. So him and Junior are going to talk. But Mike said it already. Those fights will not happen because they built so much up in individual ones that will never come together.
Yeah, if that fight, in my opinion, if that fight happens, I think Devin Haney beats him 11 rounds to 1. But it'll be the most boring fight you've ever seen in your life.
That's what I'm saying.
It'll be one guy trying to land a bomb and the other guy just pop out of the way, pop out of the way. Because Devin Haney is fast and does have a fast jab.
But I think
it'll be a horrible fight. It'll be the ultimate
all
letdown.
Of them are going to be like that. And the thing is, that's the problem right now in boxing, is that with people out there, they keep looking at this stuff and they're praising these guys for doing nothing. And when you say something like they were saying the other day, like about Sean Porter against Terrence Crawford, and this one guy was like, "Oh well, Sean Porter will get knocked out one round." I told the guy, "Have you ever watched a boxing match? When's the last time Terrence Crawford knocked somebody out in the first round? Much less a guy
like
at the level of Sean Porter." To say something like that is just stupid.
Yeah,
it's just like with Canelo. Canelo wins this good fight, and everybody keeps going back and rehashing when Mayweather beat him 150 million years ago. I'll tell you right now, I would love to see it, but it'll never happen in our lifetime, not even in the next lifetime. But if Mayweather, for some reason, found his balls and got it out of his wallet and got in the ring with Canelo again, Canelo ends him, destroys him fast.
He plays with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beats him up. Physically beats the shit out of him.
Man, these people,
and makes him look like a fool. It literally makes him look like a fool as well.
Yeah, so, it'll be like Larry Holmes beating up Muhammad Ali and looking at the referee and going, "Are you going to stop this?"
Oh, don't even get me on Ali. We're gonna have to go back one day and talk about that. What the world considers the greatest fighters of all time. Then I'll break it down from Ali to Marciano why they weren't. But we'll do that another time.
Okay. All right. So hey, here's another one. Okay. So Mr. Mayweather, if you ever get the balls enough to actually get back in the ring, we would love to see you with Canelo. Canelo would make you cry in your, cry.
Canelo would beat him so bad that they will give him 3 losses instead of 1.
Yeah, it'll never happen, guys.
No, it never happened. It's a pipe dream. We know that. We know it's not going to happen.
But it's fun. It's fun. If we could take Mayweather at his prime, Canelo at his prime.
I'll be honest with you. Even in the division right now, bro, I don't think guys like in the lightweight division. I think it's like with Chon Zepeda, he's going to be how they avoid it. I don't see even Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor gets past this Ramirez fight. Technically, Chon Zepeda is mandatory, but you watch how they're going to sidestep Chon.
No. Taylor will hightail it and bounce up to 147.
Well, it's the same thing. Yeah, he's not going to face a guy who, if he wants to say I'm the best, stay at home, clear out the division. These guys win a fight or two, and then as soon as a real challenge comes up, I'm out. I can't make weight no more. That's bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Because eventually you run out of room. You run out of places to hide.
Yeah. You can only hide so much. Yeah.
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 I mean, how many times do you see fighters that are just in the wrong division? And you're like, why is this guy fighting in this division? Because he's running from everybody. Makes no sense, dude.
Yeah.
That's another story. We should talk about that one day. What fighters, like, Gamboa could have been a better fighter if he would have dropped down in weight a long time ago.
Yeah.
There's so many fighters like that. Araceli Lara.
Okay,
Lara could have dropped down to probably welterweight.
Arislandi.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a question to pose to both of you. Okay, so this is one that of all time type of thing. So, who, in your opinion, is the top fighter of all times?
You mean of all eras or just that today?
All eras of all time. Who is in your mind the person
the complete fighter?
Complete.
I'll let you go, Mike. Who do you think?
Who do I think is the best in my lifetime? That's a
Yeah.
hard one, man. That's a hard one to just choose one. The one who comes to mind right away is Roy Jones in his prime. I'm not talking the Roy Jones who went up to heavyweight and then dropped back down to 160 and got knocked out cold. But in his prime, nobody could touch Roy Jones. Joe Kawasaki was another guy that was unbeaten. Even though Lomachenko has two very disputed losses, Lomachenko, to me, what he's done in the ring in 15 fights will never be done again. Not in our lifetime. It'll never be done again.
Mine's an easy one.
Yeah.
Mine's an easy one. Mine goes back to a throwback era of a 24-year-old kid who cleared out not one, not two, but 3 divisions. And if he wouldn't have got killed in a car accident, there would have been no Julio Cesar Chavez. These guys would have been destroyed, and that was the great Salvador Sanchez.
Yeah, but did he? I don't think he cleared out 3 divisions, bro.
No,
I don't think he.
I'm talking about the champions that he beat. I mean, the guys that he fought. He fought against, Zarate. He fought against Wilfredo Gomez. I mean, these guys were monsters. These guys were considered unbeatable, and he accepted every challenge, and he just destroyed everybody. Even Azuma Nelson, who went on to fight later on, was beaten by Sanchez.
Okay,
yeah,
so right. I love both of your answers, but I'm actually going to go a little bit more personal here. Okay, so I got 2. There's actually 2 that hold a true tie. Okay, one for his speed, one for his power and his reach and his just absolute. Anyway, so I got AJ Rage. If all of you don't know this, okay. AJ Rage, I've seen this guy knock guys out with one shot. One shot. And I wish
I can't even knock out a beer anymore, dude.
Yeah, dude, but there's not a moment in my life that I don't think back to, God, why didn't you just pursue it just one more inch? One more inch.
Hey, for anybody out there that needs an old opponent, that guy will come in there and give his all right here, dude. Just let me know, dude. I'll do it, dude. Secondly, there's one guy that could hit you like 5 times before you hit him once, and that's the Flash. You better get your mouthpiece in your mouth, Charlie. You've already got half your faces beat up. And that's Mighty Mike. I already knew that.
No, that's Mighty Mike. Mighty Mike was the fastest puncher I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was back when I was like 135, 140.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. So those are my 2. Those are my 2 boxers that I got to.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro.
Bro, I love you, bro.
I got to live with you guys. You know what I mean? I got to be your guys' sparring partner. I've taken the shots from AJ. I've taken the shots from you, Michael.
That's how me and my brother. That's how me and my brother Mike fell in love with boxing. Was that we would go in there, we'd fight each other. It was the stupidest thing. We'd go in there, we'd box each other, just body shots, and we'd go for like 100 rounds, dude, just every day. But it was fun, dude. That's what kids do nowadays. Kids don't even do that stuff. So
kids don't do that anymore.
For brothers out there, you guys want to bond? Go buy a pair of boxing gloves. Get some headgear. Go in the backyard, have some fun. It's not, dude,
even if you can only afford one pair of boxing gloves, just put one arm behind your back and just swing on.
That's what we did too. Remember, we used to do that too.
You gotta do. Yeah, that's what you got to do. These kids nowadays, they're like, "Oh, I'll box you," and they're doing this number with their thumbs.
Yeah,
I'm boxing. It's.
I think kids today could all use a good punch in the nose every once in a while. It kind of teaches you humility.
Oh yeah, true. Absolutely. You're absolutely right, bro. You're absolutely right. No, I just think that,
This message brought to you by Enter the Ring against Child's Abuse.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like with my son, he's a tough kid, but he's got a big heart, But I mean, if put in the right direction, he can have the skills. But do I want my son in boxing? No, because I know the other side of boxing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
it's a dirty
I want
sport.
him to use. I want him to use his brain. And like the statement that you said about Robert Alcazar from Alcazar, I'll let you say it, and then we'll sign off. How's that? What Robert said.
Well, what are you specifically talking about?
Well, you were talking about why he kind of discouraged you from like really getting into boxing.
It's just because it's a dirty sport, man.
Yeah.
It's just a dirty sport. It's a dirty sport. The people get used,
And I think Robert said it because
There's no loyalty too. There's
you
no
don't let somebody
loyalty.
do a job that if you care about them, you don't want them to do it and ultimately get hurt,
Yeah,
whether
yeah,
physically or mentally and stuff.
yeah.
So we need more people. So the bottom line is we need more commentators like us who are transparent and trusted. We need more trainers like Robert Alcazar, and we need more fighters, that got heart.
That aren't afraid to let that O go, because you'll gain so much more by taking those risks, even in defeat, than you will by just circumventing all the top challenges in your division and just kind of navigating, like I said, your own little highway to get to what you consider as a promised land. Okay, I got my 5 million Instagram followers and I made my $2 million in the ring. Okay, I'm good.
I'll tell you right now. There's an old saying in boxing called barbershop talk. And for anybody that's following these Instagram boxers and stuff like this, I'm gonna tell you right now,
they're not
if
getting.
you're following the 140-pound division and you're following a guy who doesn't deserve it, and you go into the barbershop, you say this stuff, you know what they're gonna throw at you years from now? A Chon Zepeda. They're gonna say, you know what? Yeah, that guy fought some guys, but you know what though? He ran from Chon Zepeda. Yeah, that guy, remember that guy? Just like Ali ran away from Eddie Meechin, the list goes on.
Yeah. You're not going to get talked about it.
No.
You know what I mean? In all-time greats, you're not going to be looked upon favorably. And sadly, right now, there's a lot of people that look very unfavorably upon Floyd Mayweather, and a lot of people that look at Manny Pacquiao as almost like a god. And Manny's got 4 losses on his record? 4?
No, Manny's got 8 losses on his record.
Well, however many he's got, Marquez, Horn.
But Manny fought wars.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. People do. Floyd's got the 50-0, and it's not looked on favorably. But Manny Pacquiao has got multiple
Floyd's
losses.
being forgotten, and that's why Floyd's doing his sideshow, because he is being forgotten.
He's forgotten. He is forgotten. But that's a whole nother show.
It's like we talked about.
Hey, guys, real quick. So talking about forgotten, we do not want to forget. Robert Alcazar just had a birthday. So
happy birthday, Robert Alcazar.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably see him this week. So I'll give him you guys. I'll bring him some Budweiser.
But but real quick, before Mike signs off, and I know I've said this before, but it's one of my favorite quotes, and it talks about the testimonial of battle and bravery, and what it takes in order to be remembered. When Achilles was asked, when he was sought after to fight this monster from this emissary, this kid, and the kid told him the man was so big and so scary, I would never fight him. And Achilles looks at him and goes, and that's why in time your name will be forgotten. Achilles was willing to take those challenges and those risks in order to achieve greatness.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's what it is.
And that's Mighty Mike. And that's what we hope for these 135 pounders, man. Just dare to be great.
Dare to be great, man. You only got one shot. It's like what Eminem said. What's that song he does?
I don't even know. I don't listen.
I am what you say I am.
I don't know. Who knows?
All right, that's it for us here at Enter the Ring Live for a Sunday, January the 3rd, 2021. We'll be back on Tuesday at 5 o'clock West Coast, 8 o'clock on the East Coast. We'll have some more news and notes and nuggets for you on Tuesday. So
on these crazy COVID times.
Whatever.
So, hey, God bless. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
You guys be safe, man. Once again, this was Enter the Ring. Like, subscribe, and whatever it's going to take us to, so we don't got to go back to normal life.